George Lees, and I've tried to make a video on the monkey on your shoulder concept that is one of the religious jokes about Islam, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to try and tell you the story now in a fuller video. Okay, I've explained how there are massive overlaps between the Christian angels and the Jewish angels, and all of those take you into jokes about Shakira, the RAF, dark-eyed Molly, people that die young take the piss out of the religious sector and take the profits entirely from the worshippers. Let me tell you about Munkar and Nakir. This is Wikipedia. Okay, so Munkar and Nakir, English translation, the denied and the denier, in Islamic eschatology are angels who test the faith of the dead in their graves. Many Muslims believe that after death a person's soul passes through a stage called Berserk or Barzakh, where it exists in the grave. Even if the person's body was destroyed, the soul will still rest in the earth near the place of death. The questioning will begin when the funeral is over and the last person of the funeral congregation has stepped 40 steps away from the grave. Nakir and Munkar, you can see the links, I think, to the monk word already, and this is related to the monkey and the key to the mondial. The monkey is the key to the world, and it is a mistake about all of these religious myths and our commitment to follow them until we're dead in the grave. And then the auditors will catch up with us as the people who steal the whole world from its citizens get away scot-free, because they made up this story and they launched it, and everybody swallows it and pays the 2 collections every Sunday, does all of the missionary work, and then dies as a martyr for a false cause, or in a genocide after the hatred has been sparked. Okay, so Nakir and Munkar prop the deceased soul upright in the grave and ask 3 questions. Who is your Lord? Who is your prophet? What is your religion? A righteous believer, and everybody in any religion believes that they have the right answer. In every religion, they are told from the age when they can speak that they have the right answer. In this case, in the Islamic branch of the angel sector, that it shares almost all its roots with Christianity and Judaism. They're saying that a righteous believer will respond correctly, saying that their Lord is Allah, that Muhammad is their prophet, and that their religion is Islam. If the deceased answers correctly, the time spent awaiting the resurrection is pleasant. Those who do not answer as described above are chastised until the day of judgment. These angels are described as having solid black eyes. You remember the dark-eyed Molly bit about the Jewish nation and their followers? That takes you 8,000 years back to the Genesis chapter. Their angels overlap now with the people that were launched in this sector in Turkey, in the Middle East, and all over the rival sectors of the Holy Lands that keep getting brutalized by the world's owners. Okay, these angels are described as having solid black eyes, having a shoulder span measured in miles, and carrying hammers so large that if all of mankind tried at once to move them a single inch, they would fail. The inch joke is part of the story later on. When they speak, tongues of fire come from their mouths. If one answers their questions incorrectly, one is beaten every day, other than Friday. The Friday joke keeps coming up in religions. For the Catholics, it's the day you get your sex and your second coming with your wife, because it used to be the payday for the ordinary working man. Okay, it's linked to the Norse gods through Freya, like every day of our week. Yeah, until Allah gives permission for the beating to stop. Yeah, we're not allowed in Christianity now to smack our kids, but we are allowed to take them from their innocent parents. Okay, if you've got the law on your side, which every one of these religions are protected by corrupted law enforcers that wear the wigs and call themselves Milad, because they know that they are jokers at the real God's expense, and they think they're going to get away with it. Okay, Muslims believe that a person will correctly answer the question not by remembering the answers before death. Compare it with the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Every story, like the launch of Joseph in Christianity, takes you back to Joseph and the coat of many colours and the pyramids that are an icon for these fraudsters, but their iman and deeds such as Salat and Sahada, the Islamic profession of faith. Munkar is sometimes transliterated as monk ear. Yeah, and that is a monk in Ireland in the popular code that these jokers use. And Ireland was one of the last places in Europe to be transformed into Christianity as a fraud, because it's right on the west coast. Okay, now I'm still live. Can we get some more footage in? So in the earlier attempts to make a video, I've been shut down halfway through, and there's a picture of the word monkey and a Google translation of that word to Yiddish. This is this bit here, the Yiddish bit is here, but when you see how it's pronounced, it becomes my Alp. Yeah, that's monkey. The mondial and the key to the world ownership, the monkey, is a joke about the Alps and the mountains from a molehill, which is the Piso fraud, started in Herculaneum 2000 years ago. And isn't that hilarious? Yeah, there's all of the links to the Jewish angels, the Azraels, the Tobits, the Machir links, the St. Eustace links. All of that was made in the videos last week, and I explained to you all of the 6 archangels for the Jewish faith replace the 2 that were used in the Christianity stories, and now we've got a couple of extra ones coming in beyond the grave, only for the one true God that is Muhammad and the Islam nation. All of the roots are the same, all of the jokes are the same, all of the festivals rotate minor wise through the links to the Christmas festival, the Yom Kippur festivals, and all of it is just vicious, vicious, vicious. And the simple people are the honest people. Yeah, the meek will inherit the earth. That is the joke that the Monty Python share with the fact that there's controversy about the Virgin Mary's virginity. Okay, and all of it is just a replay of the same set of sad sagas. So let's focus now on linguistics, and let's go to the top of this page. Okay, so the word monkey, and the expression to have a monkey on your shoulder, is something that I've not really understood, but because I'm led to believe by the gods that my wife has a monkey on her shoulder, I'm dead keen to be able to interpret that, and I now can. Okay, so there's the word Mikil, Mika, and Micah is a joke about a pop singer. He sings a song called Why Don't You Like Me? He's a chapter in the Christian Bible. Yeah, and when he sings that song about Why Don't You Like Me, he sings about the executed Grace Kelly, Princess Grace of Monaco. All of it is the same team plan, and none of it is innocent. So I've looked for this morning, now Mikhail is now totally menacing on behalf of Islam, when in reality it is the universal God's elements. Okay, so Saint Michael controls the rain patterns, and everything that we learn about, the people on the mount being under a cloud is turned on its head, because the Holy Lands are hopelessly arid, and they pretend that the outcomes and seeing the light is associated with the passing of the cloud and the rainstorm. Everything is turned entirely upside down. Okay, and so what they're doing is misrepresenting God's elements and the acts of God, and they're turning it into evil behaviours, becoming the reward from these fictitious angels. All the roots are common and all the messages are misinterpreted. Molly and Raphael seem to have taken a holiday break at Butlins. I can explain that. You can look for the explanation of the ownership of Butlins and the links of that place called Stocks in Hertfordshire to the Rothschilds, who are the world owners. Okay, I'm very nervous about this closing down on me, because it has done a couple of times already, but this time I'm getting further than we have before. Okay, so what I looked for this morning was a search for Mikhail, and what I got was a new set of names, and it took me into those pair that we've just read about on Wikipedia, and I've got the entry from Wikipedia mentioned in this listing: angels in Islam, and the angel of death is Mikhail. Okay, that's why we don't like him. Micah in the Bible, and that's the Christian Bible. It's not the Talmud or the Torah, it's the Christian Bible. 66 chapters in it. The whole thing is just a piezo take. Angels in Islam, Islamic learning materials, death, and Mikhail, responsible for directing the rain and winds. Yeah? Every time you hear me make a revelation and I turn my camera to outside, the sun's out. Yeah? It's not today, but I don't believe that the gods think this is at all funny. Okay? Mikhail and Israfil. Yeah? Israel. Yeah? That is that is the angel of death. Many times the name of the death angel in stupid circle off for angel of death and other names of angels such as Mikhail and Israfil. Yeah? Phil is son of, and Isra is Israel. In brief, everything is intertwined in the fraud sector, but I'm delighted that my computer is letting me get this far now. That may be a silly thing to say. And we've had Mikhail Kular was the man in the false flag news story about the Balfours and the Robert Louis Stevenson's homes, called the House of Shaws and Cramond on the Lothian coast, where the 2-year-old boy got up and walked from his bedroom and ended up in Gordon Brown's constituency on the north side of the Firth of Forth. All of that is a cover for the massive frauds and the crimes of the profiteering police leaders in Scotland, who are getting rid of all of the innocent local police force and replacing it by G4S. And thank you to the people from those organisations who have come forward honestly and talked to me decently on the pavements of Scotland this week. You are not threatening me with prosecution anymore, and I've explained how those threats have been relayed to my family through my dad, who has had 2 or 3 near-death cardiovascular accidents in recent times. Yeah? Let's keep to the religion. Okay, what we've got now is, if we keep scanning, we get Mikhail, angel of death, best answer, angel Jibril, that's Gabriel, can you see it? Angel Jibril is the messenger of Allah to his prophets. Angel Israfil, that's the son of Israel, is the angel assigned to blow the horn. That's the shofar. So far so good joke from the Isle of Skye, where, you know, the royal revolutionary Prince Charlie was rowed across to the fairy castle, and all of it is a joke about the goblins, the Holy Grail, and all the little icons to stave off evil on the church roof. The Queen got to drink a pint of wine, and she got to blow the shofar on the Isle of Skye. Israel is the angel of death. Isn't that scary? Yeah, isn't that scary? Whose assignment is to capture the soul of the person when it leaves his body at death. Ridwan is the angel in charge of paradise. Malik, the angel in charge of hellfire. That's the Malki. Get Malkied. Stick the heat in somebody. Or the Macbeth joke. Malki, Macbeth, Shin. All of it is explained in here. Also, the act of God in childbirth in the obstetric sector, when the malformed babies of the evil people appear. And that takes us also to Gordon Brown and David Cameron. It takes us to Fergie, the diversions, and it takes us also to a woman who we'll see lower down, called who makes a joke about air balloons, and her name is Lily Allen, and she shamefully shows the fictitious Jesus Christ circulating in his air balloon, which actually, in that very explicit and offensive video, is the Christian cross in orbit. Jesus never gets home, unless it's in the T-Mobile joke. Okay. Right then, the angels. So, there is an angel in charge of the womb of the woman. He writes matters on the forehead of the fetus when the fetus is 120 days old and his soul joins his body. There are the angels who carry the arsh. Yeah, that is the ark and the ephod thing, the box with the gold in it, the rewards for brutalizing the Holy Lands through all of human conflict. Yeah, from the one true God, who's keeping an eye on you, using the monkey on your shoulder for the whole of your lifespan. Okay? So, Ratail is the angel in charge of relieving the sadness of the believers. Mikhail is the angel in charge of the rain. Angel Ismail is in charge of 12,000 angels in one sky empire. Oh no, sorry, it doesn't say empire. That's me just interpreting it in terms of Rupert Murdoch's activities, who are his direct assistants. There are the angels who write down the deeds of the person. Each one has two with him. One who writes the good deeds, and the other who writes the mubba and the bad deeds. That's the deniers of the silk stockings jokes. There are the angels Munkar and Nakir, who question the person in the grave, and many, many more. The Munkar on your shoulder. That's the monk in Christianity. And all of them are represented in the Jewish angels. See the video I made on the evocation of the Jewish angels and the Paris visits and all of the buildings that are marketplaces that are a joke about hell, and the underground in the big cities is hell in this very massive joke. Okay, let's keep going down. What does the Bible say about Archangel Michael? Right then. So, linguistics and words. It's very important, and it's going to take me ages to do this. But what I've done is search for several keywords. Okay, and that is a search on the meaning of the word. It's something something that one of my heroes, Robert De Niro, used to use a lot, and it's capricci. Have you heard that in the Godfather movies and in the violent movies about villainy in New York? Capricci, the mafias use it. Yeah, it's basically saying to them, yeah, we're going to do it this way, and it means Croatian translation. It means captain. And sorry, I can't get the images. So there's the word capic, which is the monitor beyond the grave, and capricci is a joke about various things. Capricci, Italian-American Godfather Cagney era. At your service, my captain. Okay, and you've got the word capic can translate as monkey, ape, jocko. The verb is monkey, mock, imitate. Ah, merde. Monkey, mock, imitate, and bait, taunt, baffle, chaff, scoff. Okay? All related directly to capricci and the word for this person beyond the grave, who's either the accuser or the denier. Do you see the links to the law courts? It's impossible to miss them. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, all of it is the same massive fraud against the people. Right then, more on the plays on words and the premature deaths. Monkey, translated from English into Danish, is Abe. Who was the leader of the 12 tribes? Abraham, head of psychology at Tag University. He had to write an apology when he visited all of the universities around Britain, and I got an email from him confirming that the universities in Britain were being robbed, and that he had received that along with the Prime Minister in Whitney. Okay? Cliff Abraham. Nice guy, but he's now getting up towards the Royal Society membership, where Frank Griffin has already achieved his massive crimes, and he's the one who told me that Ireland was peaceful now because we'd delivered for them at long last socio-economic welfare. That was before Martin Sorrell crashed it again, just after we came back from New Zealand as a persecuted professor, persecuted by the global cabal. More on that later on. Okay, so Abe and Abraham Lincoln and all of the jokes that are shared about the Rothschilds. And Abraham Lincoln's killing was faked up, if Greg Hallett's to be believed on that. And there's more on the same linguistic themes. Let's keep going down. Monkey means app in Dutch. You know the apps that we have to get every piece of software and every discussion that the kids have about what they need next so that they can buy the new merchandise on the myths that are made on all of these religious themes and obfuscate the crimes of the clerics that perpetrate the myths and invent them in the first place. Capici means caps in English. Okay, the links to the captain and the faithful reward of following the captain into war and your slaughter. That is a joke also about The Sound of Music and the Captain Von Trapp joke. Yeah, that's set near Innsbruck, Hitler's birthplace, and it is all a vicious joke at the world's people and the victims of those global conflicts. Here we've got monkey means mono, and just the other day I talked about the Monopoly Board for Scotland and the monopoly concept that is the corporate world. Everything is run by a cabal of elites. I was looking up, I think it was Edmund de Rothschild, who's 99 now. He's got a massive empire of fraud, and he's registered somewhere in the south of England, and the people that are linked to him are absolutely global. Yeah, and I'll make a video on that at a later date. Now that I'm beginning to learn how to keep the computer tame. It's a really foolish thing to say. Ah, shit. Monkey and Abe. So Abraham, the Jewish leader, the chosen one. Yeah, all of his people all around him in his tribe were slaves, and they're really proud of that in every religion. They don't give a monkeys about emancipation and the people who believe in God being freed from their tyrants. They worship the tyrants, and the tyrants write a whole story. That's not Professor Abraham in Dunedin. He, like me, is a neuroscientist. He's a decent character, but he's bemused all of the time that they don't get enough money for the research. He would do really well to join me. So there's the app joke. Scallywag, scallywag, scalawag, ram, rammer, monkey. Rascal, scamp, scoundrel, scallywag, good for nothing, monkey. Yeah, it's sitting on the shoulder for all of your life, and it's imposed on you by the religions that steal from you for all of your life. Capici caps. Monkey mono, that's where we got to. Monkey, this is the pipe joke. And the pipe joke I've failed to understand, but that is pip. That's the Hebrew translation, okay? And the pipe joke is just that the word pie is embedded in the word, and if you read it backwards, it's embedded twice. Isn't that good? That's the Piso fraud, and they've got the same joke with the same punchline in the story twice. Right then. And that's the joke about Pi, the warhorse, all of the jokes about Pistorius, the Pichon River, where they were fighting to take over the place where Butcher Jones fought in popular culture. Butcher Jones is actually a joke about the brutalization of the American Indians. And Butcher Jones Park is a massive reserve that is now the property of the Roosevelt family, and it's right next door to the massive Roosevelt Dam on the west coast of America that was part of the corporatization project in America before they entered the war, when they got the Japs to bomb their harbours as members of the same team. And the emperor in Japan is still prevailing in Japan. Okay, well, let's keep the line down. There we go. So the joke is the pi word, which is the beginning of the Piso name, yeah, and it is the beginning of the name Pippin, which is another one of the characters in the Lord of the Rings fraud movie. And the monkey in Hmong means liar bee, and the Hmong people are the double agents who deserted their country in the Vietnam War, and they led to the making of 5 Home Alone movies. They are treasonous people in their own country, like the whole of the MI5, the MI6, the Mossad people, and the CIA that Jim Fetzer was complaining about, because the CIA are now beginning to interfere with the legitimacy of the American elections. Isn't that tragic that the CIA that was designed to steal from the world is now hitting on its homeland and its security? Okay, so monkey, liar, B grade. Okay, and you can see that the liabilities for crimes are nowhere to be seen in this story. That's the worthiness of the law, and the devil's advocate entirely understands that and proclaims it. Monkey, and the links to John Major, the British Prime Minister. You switch a little letter, and this is the Hungarian translation. John Patterson's been in Hungary this week. He might understand a little bit more about the complex linguistics that mean that these things, like the Madam B ovary jokes, they become a massive belly laugh for the owners of the world for 2,000 years. And that's the majority word too. Monkey, mon yet. Yeah, money, E.T. The E.T. joke is a joke about the size of the genitalia, and it's shared with etrog, is part of the fruits joke on one of those massive Jewish festivals, and E.T. is the creature from outer space that comes to Earth, and the letter T is the Christian cross. It is, for them, it is childish, but it is humorous. For the rest of the world, it's tragic, because we live in chaos as a result. Monkey, monkai. Not sure why I copied that one. And the simian connection, the SIM card. We've covered the app, the simian connection, and I was aware of that. That is the Latin translation. Let's see what the monkai bit is. It might have an explanation when I look at where. Oh, that's the Irish version of it. Ah, and the Cahill, California affiliation with Ireland. Isn't it funny? Ireland has more sectarian problems than almost any other country in the world. Yeah, and that spills into New York and their police force and the marital issues there when the Pogues sing about it. Right, let's not lose our place again. It could cost me a fortune in time. Simia, so that's the Latin translation, the SIM card. Then we've got the Lithuanian. Now this is a complicated one, and as a pharmacologist and a drug discoverer, only I can see the irony of this. So this is Lithuania, that I talked about in the Jedburgh Sheriff Court issue this week, where the translator can speak 5 languages, and they're really clever at linguistics, because this is a joke about benzodiazepines that are the sedatives that you use when you're cast into anxiety attacks because people desert you or they pick on you, and they're used as sedatives before they put people in straitjackets. Benzodiazepines. Yeah, and the Zion word in the middle of that, I have never noticed it until this morning. Benzodiazepines. Yeah, isn't it clever that the whole of the 3 religious faiths that we're talking about, which are massive and are totally divided, are sharing the same jokes and the same linguistic roots? Right, keep going down. You cannot get much lower than this. Well, they do all of the time. They get much, much lower than this. That's the genocides. Okay, this is the joke about Madge. I love Madonna, I love her music, I love her inspiring stance on the fact that when she makes a Bond movie, the good person in her inner circle, you know, the good half of her what is it, the yin and the, what are the Chinese terms for the person's behaviours? Yin and yang. She allows the woman in white to beat the fascist woman in black. Madge is the nickname for Madonna, and here we've got Madge Moon. Macedonian for monkey. And if you look at the lists for the for the word Aryan and the meaning of spider in globalized culture. It's just as shocking as this one. Everything is a belly laugh for them. This one made tears come to my eyes, because the faith of all of the followers of all of these religions is absolutely an immense commitment. Here you have the Persian translation. Now, what I've got here is Persia is Iraq, and Omar Sharif, the man who was in this movie about Lawrence of Arabia, yeah, that's not him, that's the British guy that pretended to be the goody, yeah, but Omar Sharif is a friend of my mate Dr. Jones in Auckland. He used to play bridge with him. That's Auckland that is connected to the Rothschild Trust, yeah, and that is stealing from all of the British Commonwealth. That's the Rothschilds. I don't need to tell you too much more about them. Their icon is blood red and a hexagram, which is the 6 Jewish angels that we talked about in the video last week. Okay, monkey, Jesus. Can you see it? In Persian, Jesus is the monkey. In the jokes shared by David Murray in the Scottish Borders Councils about the donkeys right next door to the golf course at St Boswell's, the donkey is also Jesus. Do you get it? If you do that to monkey, you get donkey, and you get the ee-aw, ee-aw, ee-aw joke. All of it is about the greatest Messiah that ever was faked up, and we celebrate at all the big festivals the killing of our greatest hero. Only humans could be as sick as that. And I had a decent cleric pass me by this morning. She's a really deep thinker. She really understands the world, and it's really encouraging to see them walking past my house and conversing in a jocular way about the things that need to happen in the religious world to take the whole world to civilization. It's an easy step when people who are intelligent come together and talk openly. I asked her, like, she's the parent of several lovely children and they're beautiful singers, and I asked her, because of the jokes I've been sharing with you about the Monty Python's window scene in The Life of Brian, I asked her jocularly, was she on a pilgrimage and was she a virgin? Yeah, the whole thing is a stitch up, and I don't know how far up or down the local churches the joke is shared, but with communications over time I will find that out, and the people that split up the money and send it to the bosses are really sick, and it's sad that I've had to expose that before they take my exposures and my revelations seriously. So monkey and donkey are jokes at Jesus' expense. Jesus never lived, and the words none and everything that we've talked about in those videos that are taken from the work of Abelard Reuchlin and my own research on the Garden of Eden, yeah, and the Pishon and Butcher Jones fighting in those massive battles, yeah, for the confluence of the Blue Nile and the White Nile are at the place where the massive battle was fought 6,000 miles from Britain, and we sent a massive army there twice to brutalise that place. I forget the name of it, but that's where the fuzzy wuzzies were that Corporal Jones in Dad's Army jokes about. But the Corporal Jones, Butcher Jones joke is about the killing of the American Indians, and I can tell you every character in the Lord of the Rings and in the Hobbit books now that are covers for these massive frauds and jokes. Right then, nearly there. If it stops now, oh. Now, I knew a man called Simon Malpass, but I cannot remember what he did. I think he must have been a scientist or a university sector. There's a Simon Malpass that's a global explorer, and there's a George Malpass who's an actor in the Indiana Jones movies, the ones about the air balloons and the zeppelins. Yeah, he died within weeks of making the movie, and when you look at the other movies he's made, he spent his life taking the piss out of really, really serious and genocidal issues for the human race. Look him up. There's his picture. I believe that's him playing the role of Dr. Jones. That's Indiana Jones's boss in the university sector. My boss in the university sector is Dr. David Jones. He had his heart attack just before I left Dunedin. All of them have got it coming to them unless they get on side. Okay? And here are all the other roles that this vicious joker has played. And look at his transcript. There is no picture on his transcript anymore. That's this one here, George Malpass. Yeah, it's on a thing called, I forget what they call the movie web pages. There is no picture there. That's a series of pictures. There he is in the Indiana Jones, young Sherlock Holmes, law enforcement jokes all over his filmmaking transcript. Right then. And so there's the monkey Jesus joke again, Malpass. And can you notice that the Malpass is also, the letter L has become, as a joke for them, which is probably why he died, the letter T. It's got a little cross piece on it. Looks as if you're looking at the crucifix from the right, the extreme right hand side. Yeah, and God has an immense sense of humour that the whole world is now beginning to understand. Sometimes it's too late for them and their families. Okay, this is the girl that had also, I think she had a child born with difficulties with her vision or something, and she's part of the Bedford Falls joke. She was brought up near Bedford, where they had a factory for zeppelins and air balloons, and what she's got here is an image of Jesus on the crucifix circulating the earth, because he never gets home after the resurrection that never happened. And in Madonna's Love Profusion, she proclaims openly that there was no resurrection, yeah, but that love can consume the whole world, and she walks on water because of that. And the whole thing that this girl is sharing here is about the zebra. This is the joke about the troops in World War I in the trenches, cast into their death and ripping the pyjamas off the zebra and the big black fascist bull shagging it. Yeah, and what you've got is the joke about Cybele and the tigers. Yeah, that I've got the leopards and the leopards. It ties into all of the Piso menagerie. Yeah, and look at her broad smile. She, I believe, will be a left-wing person, a person born into a working class family, and she understands, because of what happened to her child, that it is really dangerous to keep taking the piss. But like me, she enjoys a good drink, and like me, she's a left-winger, and I believe that somebody like her could make a huge difference to the future of the free world. Yeah, she's paid to have a laugh at the ownership of the world as it now stands, and all of the working class people that came from the same sector of life as her, in the poor working class estates all across London. She's got a Cockney accent. She is capable of greatness, and she understands that I'm coming at her with these things, because some of the things she sings about are about my inaugural lecture was on ion channels, and my story and the title for that was Light at the End of the Channel. She's got that in the lyrics of some of her songs. All of them understand that I'm coming at them. Some of them are capable of greatness. Christopher Martin, for example, an immense intellect, an immense understanding of the fraudulent world history, and the capacity to make himself and his wife, Gwyneth Paltrow, icons in the real history of our real world, which could become really quickly a global civilization if they share the truth instead of laughing at the magnitude of their crimes. I don't want their heads lopped off. Right then, we're getting close to the bottom, and God bless YouTube and my ancient computer. Okay, so explains the monkeys in Gibraltar. The macaques with the red arses. Yeah, the macaws, like the British apes. It's ever so childish, and that is an archipelago that is one of the twin towers at the mouth of the Mediterranean. The seismic activities in North Africa knocked the other side of the twin tower at that point down. Like the Carthage earthquakes and all of the earthquakes up the west coast of Italy. And when they went from the twin towers to meet in they went to the last meeting before they brutalized Islam and the Holy Lands again in the Iraq conflict, was held at the place where Christopher Columbus sailed from. I forget the name of it, but you know, that is a joke about the world's explorers going west, young man. So the G8 and the G20 that summer came to the place that was his port of call before he left Europe. I forget what it was it Genoa? I think it was Genoa. Okay. Right, and that is a joke about Noah and the 12 tribes setting off to find their place. And all of the places in the movie Lawrence of Arabia are jokes about the 12 tribes wandering around aimlessly as their messianic leaders and their chosen ones tell them to do it. And that's on the burning bush issues. And the bushes laugh at everything that is religion, and they're able to write the books if you're the younger son of George W. And that is done at St. Albans Cathedral in America, and it's done at the Vatican, where the King Arthur stories were written about innocent politicians and monarchs. It's all a myth. Right then. Oh, crikey Moses. So the Macaws in Gibraltar obey Anna, the high priestess, and island in the stream jokes. So if you look at the Russian translation of monkey, you get this, and it looked to me like something familiar, but I can't remember what that was. But the pronunciation is obey Anna, yeah, and Anna means high priestess in Judaism. And Anna means island in the stream. In the jokes sung by the woman with the big breasts, who sang about Joseph with the coat of many colours, islands in the stream. And Anna is an island in the stream. Every Scotsman knows that. Yeah, I can't remember what I saw in this word when I first looked at it. But it's obey Anna. That's the Russian translation. And we've shown you how in the 6 Jewish angels the other day, it takes us into Shakira, that's the Latin American goddesses, and it takes us into China. If you break the words up into their component parts, everything is a massive belly laugh. Anyway, if it stops now, obey Anna the high priestess. And here we've got the Madge joke again, and Maimon, Mam, and I can't remember why I've highlighted that one. Monkey. This is Sinhala. Now I'm not sure where that is. It sounds as if it's in the South Pacific, and that translates as Vod Ora. Denier Stockings jokes. Okay, so there we've got in the translation to Somali, you get the monkey as Dan Year. Dan is a joke about the biblical presence, and Desperate Dan in Dundee is also a joke about the biblical texts. But what you've got here is the silk stockings joke again. This is the denier part of the roles beyond the grave of these two spooky and sinister angels that are making the decision about whether you spend your immortal life in the burning pit or you get to join the guys in the orgy or whatever it is that the decent gods enjoy in the skies. No human is allowed to know that until the judgment day, which is why everybody's ever so nervous about their judgment day coming quicker than it might have done. They've now become God-fearing, and hopefully the denier person and the joke will be forgiven. Right then, I think we might as well stop there before. Oh, and there's the mono joke again. And this is a link to the translation into Tamil, which is where, en route to the G8 summit, Liam Fox was selling his weapons with his gay boyfriend. That's the Tamil Tigers. All of the sectarian problems, all of them are raised by the media and raised by the locals because they have the capacity to sector their hearts and minds and make them sectarian criminals and terrorists. I don't know whether or not any of that is true, but the capacity to sell weapons to everybody is a massive factor in the lack of world peace. If we were to remove the gun from our earth, every nation would be obligated to live peacefully with their neighbours, nationally and internationally, and Stephen House would be thrown out of office without the threat of innocents being shot down with the automatic weapons that he now wants openly in the corrupted country that we inhabit. Sir Stephen House, £250,000 a year declared, the rest of it in the havens, with all the other people who are trained at fetis. Right then, and so there's the monkey word, translates to something that looks like a pair of drinking jugs, or maybe very small willies and a pair of bullocks at each end. Yeah, what you've got is it is pronounced Quran coup. Yeah, Quran coup. It's a coup in the sense that it never actually happened, and that everybody that is written about is faked up. Okay, that's the Tamil version. And I think maybe I could see the word below. We're going to get jokes on the knights who say knee. Okay, so this is the Thai translation. The Thai is where the Golden Triangle is, where all the Burmese crimes are, where President Nixon is guilty of getting all of his troops addicted to the narcotics that were sent there by the cabals that were run by Henry Kissinger and the royals in Britain and Holland. Okay, so there's the knights that say knee joke, yeah, which is a joke about the Jewish Knesset. And you've got also that is pronounced as ling, which is the bling, catching jokes, and the knights that say knee jokes. Isn't it funny, and isn't it really intelligent that world leaders can spend all of their time making laughs about this, about their commitments to the world? This is the Turkish version, and this is also a joke about left-wing and ordinary working people and the anti-communist cull. The May month is a huge month for the communist movement. The 1st of May Day is a Monday holiday in England, which is a fascist country. Yeah, and a lot of the Scottish people and a lot of the minor professions like pharmacy, when they get a Monday holiday, the pharmacists have to work, the doctors and the profiteers get the day off, and the corrupted bankers get the day off. Yeah, I keep hitting on the doctors because of their behaviour since I came back to my hometown. They have the capacity for greatness as well. and I know that they are innocent people at heart, and they could be doing what the innocent doctors did in Latin America. But now that we're not allowed to smack our children, it's very unlikely that we're going to be faced with genocides in football stadiums like happened in the Operation Condor and Caravan of Death genocides, condoned entirely by the current Pope before he changed his name to Francis. Okay? We're almost there, and as usual it's longer than it should be for big hits, so we've covered all of that ground. Denier, monopolies, nights that say nee, the bling, Thailand jokes, the May Day jokes about the revolutionaries and the communists, and what we've got there. Oh, this is the Magda thing, and you know that Magda is the Mary Magdalene woman who's unclean and alleged to be a prostitute, and you've got that embedded in the word there. There's the May joke again, and that's Uzbekistan. The Vietnamese joke is below that. What have we got there? It's also the communist thing. So my dad understands that he went to Korea to fight the communist menace, and he understands that the communist menace is the ordinary working man. So they've got, in this massive master plan, the ordinary working man on both sides of the world fighting on behalf of the world's elites to kill the ordinary working man. And when those conflicts end, they send people in from other countries heavily tooled up to massacre the returning troops, which is why Sheriff Drummond has desisted from the Jedburgh Sheriff Court, which is in all sorts of compromised positions on its complicity in treason and in the massive nuclear weapons scandal that is the Trident case. I've got all the corporate documents on all of that, and all of their cover-ups in that Jedburgh Sheriff Court are going to come out in the course of world history, and Miss Tom is going to be a feature of all of the videos I make in the next fortnight in the lead up to the continuation of my persecution. That's Yiddish, and that's where we started. That takes you to McAlpine and my Alp and the mountain from a molehill concept that is the sheriff joke and the marshal joke, the Mars Hill joke. It's all built into the same set of frauds. Okay? And there's just a little bit of artistic diversion, because I've got a linkage of monkey to oboe, and that one is in a language that I've never heard of, Yoruba. Okay? That's enough. Can you see it? So we've got angels that are threatening menaces, or are angels of death. They're looking at issues of conscience for the victims of the religious fraud, but what they really are a joke about the money stream that results from the religious fraud. And I'm gonna now ask it to stop recording at 58 minutes, and that will be